Speaking of peeing the bed, it's been long enough that I can tell this story publicly. In high school, I went to a party at some house with no adults, as you sometimes would. And at the end of the night, like 10 people all clonked out together in the same bed. Fully clothed, one of those teenager moments where you're like, wow, hee hee, how rule breaking. Because sure, a lot of parents wouldn't like us sleeping in a bed with a bunch of other teenagers and no adult supervision, blah blah. Fond memories. Anyway, I'm an extremely light sleeper, so I barely slept. And sometime around 6 a.m., I woke up to a girl totally panicking very quietly because she peed the bed in her sleep. And listen, this wasn't a group of mean kids by any measure, but there's no level of kindness or understanding in a world that'll make you peeing the bed when you're 17, surrounded by people you only sort of know, a gentle blow. So I sat up and she was like, oh my god, and I signaled at her to be absolutely silent, and I said I'd be right back. And I crawled over everyone and out of the bed like a stupid cat. And the thing is, by senior year, I wasn't getting bullied much anymore. I was generally pretty well liked by my peers, but if this makes sense, people still didn't always expect very much from me. I was still figuring out how to mask autistic, and I still often said or did something that made everyone remember I'm weird, and they'd just be like, well, that's story for you, I guess. And for the most part, I'd become pretty secure in that. So what I'm saying is I had nothing to lose, and this girl had everything to lose. So I went downstairs and I made tomato soup, and by made, I mean I put a whole can of tomato soup in a 2-small mug and microwaved it until it was lukewarm so as to be conceivingly made, but not so hot to burn someone. And then I walked back upstairs, and no longer like a cat, I clumsily attempted to crawl back into bed, loudly lost my balance, and spilled tomato soup all over the girl in her lap and several others' laps and heads in the mattress. Everyone woke up confused and anguished, and I was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, I just got really hungry and it's all I could find. And everyone immediately accepted with absolutely no further questions that I would go downstairs, make tomato soup at 6 a.m. and bring it back to bed. Everyone just begrudgingly climbed onto the floor and went back to sleep while I put the bedding right into the laundry. I don't even know this girl's name. I only remembered the story recently because I'm in my hometown for a few months, and recently a high school acquaintance said, hey, do you remember spilling soup on everyone after prom? Why did you do that? And for a moment I genuinely did not, and I stared at them completely dumbfounded while the memory loaded, and then I started laughing too hard to answer for 2 minutes. The best part is I can tell this story, and even if it reaches the people who were there, none of them will know which one of them peed the bed, thanks to tomato soup. People keep pointing out how bewildering this must have been from her point of view, and it's making me laugh to tears. I never considered it. I had such a solid plan in my head. I went downstairs to find something to dump on the bed, and when I saw the tomato soup, I knew it was perfect because it has a distinct smell that would cover anything else in a color which would do the same. I was so focused on my mission that in the 14 years since, I've never once considered what it must have been like for her to decide to trust me because she had no other options. Sit there in English for 3 minutes and then watch me walk back into the room and dump soup on everyone.